and creating a vacancy for a by-election. Now we are looking at the face of things. We may need to do 2 by-elections out of that kind of appointment. And of course, with the lack of IEBC, those constituents will remain unrepresented for quite some time, because I could see even the panel that's supposed to get the commissioners has not yet been accepted fully. There is a case in court. So my take is that let's not tribalize Kenya. Let's get a good Kenyan, whether it's a Maasai, whether it's somebody from the coast or any part of this country, who can run that particular show. Yeah.
But this will be definitely one of the biggest bones of contention with the current arrangement, even ODM being there. The president, of course, has some of his closest allies. He would want someone who's closer to him. Ideally, the position of CS Interior has always been retained for someone very close to the president, with ODM saying and jostling for that position, for whichever community, I'm considering them as a party. This could affect the stability of this administration. Don't you?
Remember, he's also ODM.
Yes.
So he's biased.
He may be interested in the job himself.
In the job himself.
You know, if because a pipe dream, if I was ever considered, because a pipe dream, at least there's one thing you can be sure about. I will not leave my head behind. I'll walk in with my head. But that said and done, Fred, the position of Interior Secretary is so important. It's a nerve center of everything. Okay? And you cannot afford to give it based on friendship, based on tribe. You must just give that position, and many other positions in government, particularly at cabinet level, it should be based purely on competence. Yeah. So even if it was to pick somebody from Sabot, or Masai, or Luhyaland, let that person be competent and able to perform the duties of Cabinet Secretary Interior. You know, this administration has 2 years to work. 2 years. And they need stability within the 2 years. Yeah. So in choosing the next secretary to oversee that docket, let him have that in mind, that he does not have the luxury of time, okay? That we shall be sending him packing in another 24 months. We shall be asking him to prepare to leave State House in the next 24 months, if he's lucky. If the Gen Zs don't do another round 2, okay? So, but if he behaves well, the chances are that you survive until 2027. So we are watching him. If he gives that docket to an incompetent human being, that is his own doing. We shall continue clapping, but that clapping will not be clapping to say he has done a good job. It will be now sending him home earlier than the Constitution
what do you say
provides
to
for.
this? What do you say to this demand by members of your party? Because I'm sure when an MP tweets like this, it's not coming from nowhere. It must be something that has been discussed in some circles within the party. ODM right now can boast of giving President William Ruto some level of stability, that without he would be quite unstable in this administration without the support he had in Mount Kenya.
You know, Fred, there are mistakes that our party leader has made. He has had a stellar career in politics. And I can tell you, Fred, that I am still to understand why ODM and my party leader decided to join this government. Because everybody knows, even children who have not been born, they know that this government is headed in the wrong direction, that this government, you know, is the worst government that we've ever had since independence, okay? You can see what happened to Raila. And I've said this before, that I have never understood why my party leader But again, you must understand that, he's a nationalist. And maybe when the country is at the brink of collapse, he steps in as a statesman to salvage. But if I were the one advising, because unfortunately I'm not, if I was the one advising him, I would have said, allow this thing to collapse. Then we can have a rebirth of a nation. Because even by joining them, now they are being condemned wholesomely. They are being condemned as being part of an incompetent government that cannot deliver to the promise they have made to the Kenyan people. So all the bad things that are happening in this government, we are forced to take blame as ODM. We are, we've been lumped together with this corrupt regime. It is not working well for us because we are on the ground, we are listening to people, we are listening to what people are saying. They are still asking very hard questions. They are asking us, can you explain to us why you had to salvage this man when the Gen Z had brought him to his knees? Can you explain to us? We don't have answers. But I'm just praying, Fred, knowing my party boss, knowing my leader who I admire, knowing him very well, that he has not walked in to dance with these fellows, that very soon we are going to see a Tinga moment, that this thing is going to blow up. If they don't change their ways.
Could this be just the beginning of the...
I can tell you, if they don't change their ways, if they don't stop corruption, if they don't reduce taxes that are affected, Raila is a people's person. And Raila listens to the ground. And the ground is telling him, Baba, we are not supporting this. So he's listening. And I will not be surprised, Fred, when you hear that house crumpling through a Tinga effect.
All right. I'm still looking at tweets by Honorable Peter Kaluma.
Yes.
And he has very interesting, he tweets a lot about Trump. He supports Donald Trump for some reason.
Yes.
So I'm just fishing. And in one of the tweets, he talks about what has happened in Azimio. He says, imagine Eugene Wamalwa and his party have left Azimio. Which Azimio?